Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. It's kind of wild to think about, but those random, casual chats we have at coffee shops or just hanging out with friends, they've completely found their own stage. We're talking, of course, about the incredible phenomenon of podcasts. Today we're going to break down how a simple chat can evolve into a really serious hobby. And honestly, how it has the massive potential to become the very first step in a brand new digital career. All right, let's just dive right in. We've got a quick roadmap today. First up, the new era of casual conversation. Then, the keys to success, topic, and consistency. After that, the absolute must-have gear for beginners. And we'll wrap up with the final stage, editing and distribution. But actually, before we get into the weeds with the tech, I want to ask you something. Have you ever seriously considered taking your own daily chats, the funny stories, the deep opinions you share with friends, and turning them into a real serious audio creation? I mean, you probably listen to podcasts all the time on your commute, right? Well, stepping behind the mic is honestly so much easier than you might think, and it's highly accessible to absolutely anyone. Section 1. A new era of casual conversation. This is a new space for storytelling without visual boundaries. What we're seeing now is that a modern podcast isn't just, recorded radio. It's this incredible creative medium that mashes together three things: a personal hobby you love, super accessible digital tech, and totally unfiltered self-expression. The ease of using these tools today has literally democratized the broadcasting world. Anyone can be a creator. So, what does the creation workflow actually look like in practice? It really breaks down into 4 foundational phases: drafting your concept, doing your research, hitting record, and finally, editing the audio. The secret sauce here? It's really in those first 2 pre-production steps. If your concept and research are dialed in before you ever press record, the rest of the process is going to be infinitely smoother and your episode quality will be top-notch. Moving on to Section 2, the keys to success, specifically topic and consistency, and what actually makes your podcast survive in the long run. Now, you basically have 2 main avenues to hook your listeners. On one hand, you've got light topics. We're talking relatable, everyday stuff, the ups and downs of work, dating fails, quirky hobbies. People eat this up because it feels so incredibly relatable. But then, on the flip side, you have educative themes. Think self-improvement, financial literacy, breaking down pop culture. Both paths are totally valid and boast a massive market of listeners who are just hungry for relevant content. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Unlike highly visual social media where you might blow up overnight, audio takes real patience. There's a great quote from our source material that really hits the nail on the head. Gaining a loyal audience takes time, but when the topic presented is relevant, the listeners will come naturally. So, yeah, it's a slow burn, but the connection you build with loyal listeners in this medium, it's way, way deeper than a standard social media follower. All right, Section 3, essential equipment for beginner podcasters. Let's talk about building your very own audio studio right at home. Step 1 is your primary weapon, the microphone. If you're a beginner, a USB mic is an absolute game changer. It is literally plug and play. You just hook it up to your laptop, tweak it a bit, and boom, your audio is crystal clear. It's way better than forcing yourself to use that built-in laptop mic that picks up every single room echo. Step 2 is something a lot of people totally overlook: the pop filter, or foam windscreen. This incredibly cheap little tool is basically magic. It physically blocks the harsh bursts of air when you hit hard plosive letters like P and B. It instantly takes your raw recording from amateur to professional right out of the gate. Step 3, monitoring headphones. And specifically, you want closed back ones. Why? Because they isolate the sound completely. You can monitor your own voice in real time, but the audio won't leak out and bleed back into your microphone. So if a motorcycle drives by outside or you're just too far from the mic, you catch it instantly and just re-record the line without waiting for the edit. Step 4 is for when you're ready to level up, the audio interface. If you decide to upgrade to a professional XLR microphone, you absolutely need this magic box. It takes the analog signal and converts it into beautiful, high-res digital audio. Plus, if you ever want to record an interview with 2 mics in the exact same room, this is pretty much mandatory. Finally, Section 4, the final stage: editing and distribution, perfecting your raw audio and sharing your work with the world. Which brings us to Step 5, audio editing software. This is where you really polish the raw cut, removing throat clears, evening out the volume, throwing in your cool signature intro track. If you're just starting, free apps like Audacity are fan favorites because they are surprisingly powerful. Or if you want to get super surgical with it, something like Adobe Audition has you covered with limitless detail. And Step 6, the final piece of the puzzle: the podcast hosting platform.
Your neat audio file needs a home on the internet, right? Platforms like Anchor, which is now integrated as Spotify for podcasters, really pamper beginners. You upload your file just once, and their system automatically blasts it out to Spotify, Apple, Google, everywhere. You even get a dashboard to see exactly where your listeners are tuning in from. It's the whole shebang in one click. So we've looked at the whole picture, from that initial cultural shift of turning casual chats into content to the digital gear you need to actually pull it off. Now, I want to leave you with this one big question. Are you ready to turn your voice into your new digital career today? The barrier to entry is practically zero. The tools are incredibly affordable. And somewhere out there, an audience is waiting to hear the unique stories that only you can tell. Don't let your ideas just evaporate into thin air. Grab a mic. Thanks so much for hanging out with us for this explainer. I really hope it sparks some serious creative inspiration, and we'll catch you in the next one.